From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN Noon News for this Tuesday. I'm Hailey, Monaco. We begin with a tragic scene in Stillwater County. 2 people are dead and 2 others critically injured after an early morning shooting. The shots all ringing out around 3:30 a.m. at a home in a quiet rural area 10 miles south of Absaroka on the Stillwater River. 2 hours after that first call, law enforcement discovered the suspect and his truck stuck in the middle of the Stillwater River, and it's a crime that sent shockwaves across the community. MTN's Charlie Kleps reports.
Down here at the Cliff Swallow access point, it's typically a place for fishermen to come out and enjoy the Stillwater River and the nature that this area of the state brings. But on Monday morning, it was law enforcement in the area as gunshots rang out.
You would never see something like that around there. It just usually a pretty quiet place.
It's a place known for its scenic landscapes and rushing waters.
Well, it's beautiful for one, but it's also very dark and no light, no street lights, no nothing.
That beauty and solitude typically makes for a peaceful life. But early Monday, that wasn't the case as law enforcement lights lit up the yard outside this home.
We drove past their house and their lights were all off inside, but there was two sheriffs were sitting there in their driveway.
Nearby neighbor Holly Crockett Hoagland saw the lights and quickly tuned in to the police scanner. What she heard was shattering.
5 people were involved, 4 had been shot.
The Stillwater County Sheriff's Office responded to that call just before 4 Monday morning. By the time they got there, one of the victims was already dead, and the 3 others were transported to the hospital where another victim died there. Authorities ultimately found the suspect, 23-year-old Ty Allen Turney, alive here after they say he lost control of his truck driving off of the road and landing in the Stillwater River at the bottom of an embankment.
It just doesn't even feel real.
Nearby neighbors Tanya and Brad Nielsen say the loss is hard to believe.
We slept through that and how sad that was for them and that we didn't know what was going on.
A little concerned that we didn't hear more activity.
And both Nielsen say they wish they could have helped.
I mean, I don't think we could have done anything, but if we had even known, we could have maybe offered help or, called sooner.
A normally peaceful place in the mountains disrupted by a disturbing crime. In Stillwater County, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
It's early snow season, which means avalanche danger can be high, and that rings true for the Bridger Range in Gallatin County. MTN's Cassidy Powers learns more about some recent avalanches and why this time of the year can be so dangerous.
Bridger Bowl's opening day is Friday, but for some eager skiers, as you can see by this very full parking lot behind me, when the snow starts falling, they can't wait that long. But getting out there early season does come with a few risks. Imagine you're out there hitting your first few turns and then you get caught in this.
Whoa!
On November 29th, Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center reported a backcountry skier was shredding the Pomp Twins couloir near Ferry Lake when a scary scenario took place. An avalanche. As you can see in this crazy footage, the skier was carried roughly 250 feet downhill, then deployed his airbag. He managed to stay on top of the snow and left uninjured. But this isn't the first human-triggered avalanche in the Bridgers recently.
Have you been up this season?
Yes.
And how are the conditions?
It's been really good.
In the last 2 weeks, Bridger has gone from looking like this to this. Skiers like Emma and Mateo here have been taking advantage.
Yeah, the lower part of the mountain they've been grooming, which makes easy to skin up.
And they're not alone.
How many folks do you get up here skiing preseason?
A lot, and we love that.
Hiram Toll, the general manager of Bridger Bowl, tells me this past weekend you would have thought the hill was open by the amount of backcountry skiers shredding.
People definitely came up in numbers and the skiing was great.
But just because the skiing is great doesn't mean it's safe.
So it is high avalanche danger out there. So we've had slides from Saddle Peak all the way over north to the edge of our boundaries.
Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center has reported 7 avalanches in the Bridger Range over the last 2 weeks.
Whoa.
4 of which were triggered by skiers. An avalanche from last Friday that happened in the Apron area of Bridger Bowl also reportedly caught and carried a skier. So I was curious, why is avalanche danger so high in the Bridgers right now?
They got 2 to 3 feet of heavy snow, and before the snow there was some old snow on the ground that
created a weak layer that in some places is not supporting that new snow and causing big avalanches.
I went to Bridger Range today.
Alex Marienthal is an avalanche forecaster. He tells me they update the avalanche forecast daily for southwest Montana.
So that red area where there's some high danger today is in the Bridger Range, Cook City, the northern Madison, northern Gallatin ranges.
With all this avalanche danger, here are some tips Alex shared to stay safe in the backcountry.
So we strongly recommend that people have these 3 pieces of gear, which are a avalanche beacon, a shovel, and then a probe pole.
As well as never skiing alone. Advice Emma and Mateo are sure to follow.
2.72. Oh, we found each other.
As for Bridger Bowl, uphill travel is actually prohibited starting Tuesday at 4 p.m. So they can get ready for opening day. Ski Patrol will be on avalanche mitigation duty.
So that's good stuff. Yeah, it's going to be good skiing.
So everyone can expect a safe and on-time opening day. In Bozeman, Cassidy Powers, MTN News.
Well, it has been quite active across the region today. We've had rain, we've had snow, and of course the big story, the winds in some spots really whipping. More on that in just a moment. Let's take a look at temperatures. Some of us already hitting our highs today, just getting cooler as the day goes on. We're at 43 right now in Helena, 45 in Missoula. Up in Kalispell, we're at 45, 35 in Butte. Bozeman sitting at 45. Havre along the High Line at 36, 43 in Miles City, 50 in Billings. Briefly hit the low 60s earlier, and now just cooling down. And we've got some 50s down in Cody and Sheridan, upper 50s as it stands right now. The winds are a-whipping. Very strong winds out there. Will continue through this afternoon, through this evening. We'll tell you about that, and we'll talk about the rain and snow coming up as well.
And here's your leading look at some of the other top stories from across the state. Miles City Police say a suspect behind a domestic violence investigation and a foot chase with officers after he slammed into a deputy's patrol vehicle is now in custody. It all started just before 6 o'clock last night when the suspect, Joshua Dean Bunk, fled from a scene armed and struck the deputy's vehicle before escaping near the Omni Center in Miles City. That eventually led police to the 2600 block of Layton Boulevard and just before 10 o'clock. Then, as of about 11 o'clock last night, agencies say Bunk barricaded himself inside of a building. After about 5 hours, Miles City Police, with the assistance of the Yellowstone County SWAT team and Billings Police, Bunk surrendered. Now, police say officers will remain on scene and in the area for some time to ensure the public's safety. Bighorn County commissioners aren't backing down, and they're pushing for answers on why the state chose Laurel in Yellowstone County for its new mental health facility. Commissioners sent a letter to the state health department with concerns surrounding the selection process, saying it presents serious procedural questions. Commissioners point to Laurel's 2-page letter of intent, asking why that was enough to win the bid when Bighorn County's proposal offered what they call significant value to Montana taxpayers. This week, President Trump threw a lifeline to farmers struggling to sell crops while getting hit by rising costs. The president met with farmers at the White House yesterday, announcing a $12 billion farm aid package. Trump says the money will come from tariff revenues, and farmers felt the squeeze after Trump raised tariffs on China as part of a broader trade war with Beijing.
Relief will provide much-needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops, and it'll help them continue their efforts to lower food prices for American families.
Trump also blamed his predecessor for the problem, saying inflation under President Biden crushed farmers. The Trump administration's payments for farmers are scheduled to be distributed in February. New test scores are out, and the news isn't great. Fewer than half of Montana's 3rd through 8th graders are proficient in reading and math. A new testing system reveals where students stand, but one teacher says parents shouldn't panic just yet. MTN's Hannah Pettiferi shows us how School District 2 is getting students on track.
Mandy Bacon is a 4th grade teacher, and she says the new mass testing is a good thing for her classroom and her students.
We get our results back in about a week, so it's data that we can actually look at and use right now to help drive our instruction.
The new masked test is intended to help the teacher see her students' strengths and where they might need the extra help.
It also is a great way for me to say, whoa, my kids really bombed finding common denominators. but my teaching partners didn't. So how can she help me to help improve my kids' test scores too?
And while testing is never fun,
some weeks they're like, oh, another test?
This math test is done more often, and that's a good thing. It makes a difference for her when she's teaching every day.
To help me find the gaps for kids that I might not even realize they have in both reading, but especially in math.
Billing Superintendent Dr. Erwin Garcia says that math testing is still a work in progress.
The assessment came after a pilot. Is the first year that it's been issued. That even from the OPI's standpoint, the data there's some reliability and validity issues that even the state recognizes with the data.
Dr. Garcia says he is paying attention because test scores are lower than national numbers.
When I look at the outcomes reflected on the math assessment, those outcomes are pretty low. So it's pretty low proficiency. Now, those outcomes do not match nationally measured assessments.
He adds that it's taking time from daily instruction.
The focus should be on instruction. We should have some sort of measure because we don't want to lose the accountability.
But for Mandy, her students have adjusted and testing will continue.
Most of the tests are 12 to 15 questions. So they know that it's a very short time of intense focus and work, and then we can get back to our regular schedule activities and day.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferry, MTN News.